everybody. Today we are talking about how to systematize for success. So how operational assessments boost efficiency. So here's the thing. All this month we have been talking about assessing your business, right? We're getting close to the end of the year, and I don't want you to feel discouraged if you haven't made it as far as you wanted to make it, right? Because, things happen, you get delayed, or projects take a little bit longer than you thought it was going to take, or whatever happens. But I want to make sure that you are assessing yourself and your business fairly, okay? Fairly. So that's the idea. So first, earlier this month on the 6th, we talked about the power of self-assessment and how you can really look at like how far you've come, right? So you're looking at where you were a year ago. Maybe you didn't even have a website a year ago, and now you have a website. Or maybe you only had 2 clients and now you have 5 clients. And, so you're making progress. And so those are the things that I want you to be focusing on, is the progress. And then the next week, last week, we talked about skill set, right? Because the learning curve is no joke when it comes to building an online business, right? And just because I have technical skills, because I was in the technical world, doesn't mean I didn't have a learning curve. And so I fully understand how frustrating the learning curve can be for you. And so by doing a skill set assessment, you can start looking at how far you've come in terms of building those skills, and then where you have some skill gaps so that you can prioritize and focus on which skills you want to build in the next year. And maybe it's something like, getting more skilled at video editing, or getting more skilled at building your website, or making changes to your website, having less fear when it comes to building your website or getting into the tech world, right? And then this week we are talking about an operational assessment, right? In terms of your systems, what systems you already have in place. And to me, the most critical system that you will ever put in place for your business is a work management system, right? It's productivity. It's all about productivity, right? But productivity is I hate that name. I hate the word productivity because it sounds like you're just doing more in less time, and you're just running yourself ragged, just jamming things in, right? But when you systematize, that's when you are actually creating efficiencies in your business. So true, you get more done in less time, but not because you're jamming more things in, just simply because you are so much more efficient and you've, knocked out all the noise, right? So you're more streamlined, you're more simplified, and you are doing things in such a more efficient manner and repeatable manner that, it just starts to become management tasks for you instead of this constant haphazard, flying by the seat of your pants, pushing buttons until it works, not really knowing what you're doing. Instead, you're actually creating systems. So you can start your systems, if you haven't started any, by simply writing down the steps that you take when you do a certain thing, right? Like maybe posting on social media. What are the steps that you take to post, to schedule a post or create a post? Or maybe you're doing your website, and maybe you're creating opt-in pages, right? An opt-in page. So instead of just having to relearn it every single time you do one, right? Then you can actually write a step-by-step procedure on how you can do that. And then you test it for stickiness, right? So the next time you try to do that thing, you actually pull out your instructions that you created for yourself, and you test it, right? You test it to make sure that it's working. And then once you get it working and you've modified that step-by-step procedure, now it can become policy and procedure, right? A standard operating procedure. But you got to test it for stickiness to make sure that it's actually working. And then it's up to you to modify those as you change the way you do things, right? Now, why do I talk about this stuff all the time? I know I blather on a lot about creating policies and procedures in your business. And the reason why is because one of the things that you can do for your business to elevate its value is to create policies and procedures. The reason why is because policies and procedures can be about $1,000 per policy and procedure that you have. It could take about $1,000 for each one of them. And some businesses, a huge business might have hundreds of policies and procedures, maybe even thousands of those. So you can imagine the value that it adds. So if you built your business up to your 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, and beyond, you're probably not just going to fold up your business, right? Eventually, you may want to sell it. And if you want to sell it, you need to have policies and procedures in place so that the people who are purchasing your business know what they're buying and know how to run that business. Okay. All right. So symptoms that you may be you may not have systems in place is you have insufficient workflows or inconsistent workflows, and it's driving you crazy, right? Like every single time you do something, you feel like you're reinventing the wheel all the time. That is begging for a standard operating procedure, right? Which is going to help you create a little system. Systems to me they could be as small as a little procedure, a cheat sheet, a workflow, right? And then, get more formal, like standard operating procedures. Formalization doesn't have to take place right away, but the more things you get written down, and now think about this. So you have a standard operating procedure, right? And it's a procedure. You do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, right? That's a procedure. A workflow might be a little different because you have decision points in there, right? So you might have step 1, and then if the outcome of step 1 is A, then you're going to go this way. And if it's B, you're going to go this way, right? So you may have decision points in a workflow, whereas procedures tend to be just more linear, step by step by step, right? So think about those that way, a workflow versus a procedure. A cheat sheet, totally different. But, think about a desk manual. If you work for somebody else, you might have a desk manual, right? And that desk manual can be a real lifesaver for you especially when you're learning. And so the more things that you can jot down, and even, create yourself a little desk manual, a book, if you don't want to make them printed, and just take notes for now. That's at least something. That at least gets you something and closer to a system. Now, there are other systems too, like automations, maybe an onboarding process that you do, right? Where you need a workflow or something, not just instructional, but, what are the steps that you take to onboard a new client? That you should have documented so that you don't have to remember all the steps that you need to take when you do it. And then those kinds of things help you be more efficient, right? Instead of it taking you maybe 2 hours to onboard a client, it'll take you 20 minutes because you have all the steps all ready to go. You've got templates and everything set up, right? So that when you do your welcome email, you already have a template set up. You have all the links ready. You have all that stuff ready and going. So those are the types of systems that I want you to be thinking about. And then you can be thinking more and more about automations, right? So we're talking funnels, right? Funnels are a great way for you to start having multiple streams of revenue. And multiple streams of revenue are what's going to help you have a longer lasting, more consistent type of revenue, right? As you have multiple streams of income, you're creating all these resources anyway for your clients. So it's easy to peel out things and create smaller, lower ticket things that are part of that journey, that customer journey for your clients, right? So think about the people who are not ready to work with you. What could they use? What do they need to prepare themselves for working with you? And then that's how you can start creating smaller, little lower ticket items to help prepare them. Think of it like prerequisites for your main coaching program, right? What do they need to have in place? Okay, so hi, Stephanie. Thank you for coming. Okay, so inconsistent workflow, maybe you're repeating errors and you're oversighting, right? We talked about the onboarding process. You're clunky. It's taking you forever to get people onboarded. You're making mistakes that are making you feel embarrassed or whatever, right? And then you're really having a difficult time with maybe scaling because you don't have things streamlined. So you can't even make the time to get yourself there, right? So that lack of documentation, lack of standard operating procedures is really the problem, right? And then, you might have some fear of overhead. I know a lot of people, when they think about documenting, they're like, that's just terrible to do that. But the more you document, the better your business will be. And here's why. Because once you start documenting things, one is not only will you have processes, procedures, and all that stuff in place, but you're also going to have things like recording your performance on your emails, things like that. Your KPIs are now getting documented, and you can start using those KPIs to make decisions about your business and where you should go next, right? And what you should do moving forward. So those are some of the the problems that you might be encountering, right? When you don't have good systems in place, is that you are just haphazard with your marketing because you're not looking at the KPIs, because you don't bother to record them, or you don't bother to look at them, depending on the reporting that you have. Okay, and then so the solution, what's the solution? Documentation. Documenting your business, right? It's up to you as the CEO of your business to create structure in your business, and documenting your business, your policies, your procedures, your roles and responsibilities, all of those things, and your funnels and the performance of those funnels is all part of the process to creating a more formalized, structured business that's going to be easier for you to outsource different tasks and services that you want to do when the time comes for you to get there, right? Because if you are running this business, well, one, the more efficient you are and the more systems you have in place, the longer you can stay a solopreneur if you enjoy doing that and want to do that. So the more things you have in place, you can do it longer because you are so much more efficient. But if you do choose to outsource, it's going to be a whole lot cheaper training somebody if you have all the procedures already in place than if you don't, right? Now, here's the thing. If you've already hired somebody and you're clunking around trying to figure out how to work together and stuff, start with something like running a video while you do something, right? Just video it, record your screen while you're doing a certain thing, talk through it, whatever, and then make that your policy and procedure, and then have your employee write a policy or procedure, or you can even get the transcript from the video and then put it in ChatGPT and ask them to write a policy and procedure for you. Okay, so it's like so much easier than it used to be. So, and think about other things too, like, managing your work is a huge system that, like, if you can't manage your work, you are going to struggle. If you can't manage your time, or if you don't dedicate time to your business, you're going to be in trouble. You're really never going to make it. And those gurus that tell you that they're only working 5 hours a week, well, that's because they have a lot of other people probably doing the other things that they need to do, right? They aren't doing them themselves. So if you have the money and the funds to hire a team to have everything, you could be like J-Lo and say, hey, I'm going to start a perfume line and just go have somebody do it for you, right? Wouldn't that be nice? But since we're regular people, there's a lot of things that you have to do on your own, and creating policies and procedures, repeatable processes, templates, cheat sheets, workflows, all that stuff is going to help you so much. Okay, so I hope that helps you. Be thinking about the systems that you need to have in place. And like I said, you should get my, I said in the intro here, is to get my new guide. It's called 4 Powerful Ways to Evaluate and Elevate Your Business in 2025. And it is exclusively available in the Black Friday bundle that is coming your way. You should have received an email from me. If you have not, please put in the comments that you would like to get the Black Friday bundle, and I will get you on the list because you can only get it exclusively from that for now. And it's got the 4 ways. The 4th one we'll be talking about next week, and that is a profit assessment. That profit assessment is going to really get into the actual the actual goods of, what are you selling? How much of it are you selling? Where are the opportunities that you're missing out on? And how can we fill those gaps so that you can have a business engine, right, that's just running and that you're continually working on optimizing. That's the beauty of systems, right? Is you've created a business engine and then you're working on optimizing it. Okay, I hope that helps, and let me know if you have any questions or if you want to chat about it or whatever. Put anything, any chat topics in the comments, and I would love to get into it with you. All right. Okay, I hope that helps. I will see you in the comments.